Hello everyone. So in this video I'll be discussing about components in React. So what are components? So components are basically reusable codes, and they act similar to JavaScript functions. Okay, they are reusable codes and they act similar to the functions in JavaScript. They work in isolation and they return HTML. So they're categorized as they are categorized into two types. One is class components and the other is functional components. So our primary focus will be in function based components, because this is mostly used, and so we will be discussing about function based components only. So let us go and let us see through an example. So I have created a basic application structure. So this is named my project 4, and I'll open this project and I'll go inside. I'll open this project inside my text editor, VS Code. So I have opened VS Code, and the project with its file structure is here. So this is the default file structure of the project, and if we run this project, we can see, if we run the server, we will be able to see the basic structure of this particular application. Okay, so yes, now it is showing, it is loading. What I'll try to show you in this video is I'll delete all these files and I'll recreate the files. Okay, not all the files. I'll not recreate all the files, but only the necessary ones, all the essential ones I'll create. Okay, so let me delete these files and let me check if any impact is seen on the output if I delete the files from the source folder. This public folder and the node modules folder I'll not touch. Okay, let it remain as it is. I'll delete the source the files inside the source folder. I'll delete all the files. Okay, so before deleting, let's check which files do we have. We have a file name app.css, we have app.js, we have app.test.js, we have index.css, we have index.js. Now this is the main file. We will require this file, and but for now I'll delete this, and all logo and report web vitals.js, setup test.js, all these files we will delete it, move to trash. Okay, so done. So now the source folder is empty. Okay, and what I want to check is after removing these files, if my output remains the same or not. Okay, so if I check, it will throw me errors, right? So I cannot see the same output after deleting the files in the source folder. I don't have the same output, so it means that I will have to have the files that I deleted, right? So let me start with creating the index.js file. So after creating the index.js file, let me check if the output has changed. So earlier it showed me some error, right? So now after creation of this index.js file, let me check, and the error is gone. We don't have any error, right? So what it means is that we will have to have an index.js file inside our source folder for any React project. Okay, for any given React project, we will have to have this index.js file inside our source folder. So since we have not written anything inside the index.js file, so this particular browser is showing nothing, right? So let us write some code. Let us put some values inside it, and yeah, let us import some libraries and objects. Let us import React DOM, which is an object of the React DOM library. So this is an object. React DOM is an object, and this React DOM is a library. So we are importing React DOM object from the React DOM library. Okay, so next thing, we will use this React DOM object, and we will use the render function inside of this object, inside of this library, and we will pass two parameters. We'll pass some JSX. We'll pass some JSX, and we'll write something inside our JSX. Let's say hello world. Okay, and let's say the next parameter is I'll pass document.getElementById, and I'll pass an ID named root. Okay, so why we have passed root here is because whatever we will write as the first parameter, this will be rendered onto the DOM element, which is the root, and this root can be seen on the index.html inside public folder as a div ID. If we remember this, if you remember this from my earlier video, I have discussed this. We have an ID named root, and this is inside a div in our index.html, and everything will be rendered inside this root. Okay, now let us check the output. Look, we have hello world written as output because we have rendered some JSX. We have rendered some JSX, and it is put against the DOM element, right? So if we write something else, let's say this is a demo, so your output will change, right? So till now we have seen how this small changes takes place, but we have not talked about how to use a component and where the component is actually used. So till now we have not used components. So what basically is a component? Component is a JavaScript function, you can say, which is written separately, and this HTML part or the JSX part is returned from that particular component file. Okay, so let us make a file here and name it app.js. okay, so this file is a component file, and let's say I write a function here with the similar name app. The file name and the function name should be same, and this function will return some JSX. Let's say inside h3 tags I write I am inside a component. Okay, So I'm returning this JSX from the function app. Okay, and since I am returning something from a function app, I'll have to export this app. Okay, and anyone's wanting to use this app function will have to import this file. Okay, and before and here we'll be writing default. Okay, export default app. So the reason behind writing default is that any file that wants to import this app will be able to rename that particular function, or rename that particular function as they would like. Okay, so we have used this default keyword. So these things I'll be explaining later in later videos. So you primarily focus on this function, and we have exported this function. And if our index.js file wants to import the app function from the app.js file, and if it wants to use that component inside the render function, it will work similarly as it worked before, right? So if we look at the output, so see, I'm inside a component. So how did this particular text, how was this particular text generated? This particular text was generated from the app.js file. So it returned this JSX. It returned this JSX to index.js, because index.js has imported this function or this component, and this component was used here to render, and it was rendered inside the DOM element, which is the root. Okay, so I guess till here you are clear enough. Now another thing is that for every component we will have to, if we want to use design or style it, we will have to separately style each and every component. And for the main index.js, we will have an index.css file if we want to put some style. Okay, so let us put some style in our index.js file. So let's say let's say the body of the background color of the body, let's turn it to aqua. Okay, and let us import this index.css file in index.js file. Okay, so index.css, and if we look at the output, okay, it is not working here for some reason. Okay, this is not dot, this body will not have a dot, right? This is not a class. See, the background of the entire body has changed. And if we want to implement component based CSS, so we will have to write a separate CSS file for that component. Let's say app.js will have app.css as its styling file. Let's say let's say we want to alter this and we want to put some CSS onto it. Okay, let's put it inside a div. Let's put it inside a div and put everything that was inside, and let us give it a class name. Let's say component. Let's say app component. App component. So now if I implement this, in my CSS and I give it a background color or something like that, if I put some CSS, if I let's put this color as brown, and let us check the output. Okay, it is not changed. This is because we have not imported our app.css file onto this file. Okay, now if we look, it should change. Yeah, see, so this way the changes are seen. So basically what we did here is that we deleted the entire source folder and we recreated with some files. So to explain it once again in a summary, in the source folder we have to have this index.js file, and if we delete this file we will not be able to see anything. Errors will pop up here, it will throw errors. Okay, so inside index.js I have rendered some JSX and it was seen, and then in the next phase I had created a component called app.js, and this app.js returns some JSX, and the implementation of this component was seen here. So app is a component which is being maintained in this separate file called app.js. Okay, so this is all about components. If you have any query regarding this video, if you have any query regarding this video, you can put your query in the comments section below. And thank you for watching this video, guys. I'll see you in the next video.